class. So I think I'll discuss the what I have discussed in all the classes what thing we have covered. So just that is the recapitulation of these classes. Okay. And you know that your exam is will be on the February, not in the January. Only the intake first semester will be start from February.
ম্যাম ফেব্রুয়ারির কবে?
It may be from 10th February. Okay, this is unofficial.
ওকে
But,
ম্যাম।
but before 10th February, MTech first semester is not possible. All things are already we have covered all the. I think that all the classes is over. All your MTech classes, not for me, other teachers also. হয়ে গেছে তো অন্য ক্লাসগুলো? ঠিক
কিছু
আছে,
বাকি আছে।
ওকে। আমি আজকে আমার পোর্শন অলরেডি আর কভার, এবং কোয়েশ্চেনও আমাদের সব হয়ে গেছে এমটেকে। অ্যাকচুয়ালি উই নিউ দ্যাট, আমরা যেটা জানতাম এতদিন যে পরীক্ষা স্টার্ট হবে ফ্রম জানুয়ারি, ওকে, লাইক আদার সেমিস্টার, বিটেক অ্যান্ড দ্য এমটেক আদার সেমিস্টার। তোমাদের মনে হয় যারা বাইরের ক্যান্ডিডেট রেজিস্ট্রেশনটা মনে হয় এখনো হয়নি। রেজিস্ট্রেশনে কি 31 ডিসেম্বর ছিল, অনেকের মনে হয় হয়নি। আমি জানি না তোমাদের কতটা কি হয়েছে। তো মেবি ফর দ্যাট রিজন এটা হচ্ছে একটু ডিলেট করে ওই 10th February হবে আর কি। Okay, so let me start. Just what thing we have covered in our channel coding techniques, just a recapitulation of that lectures. See, in case of your exam, there will be, you have to be answer the total marks is 50. Okay, and the total question will be so you have to be answer 5 questions, each question of 10 marks. There will be two groups, group A and group B. So for each group you have to be answer at least 2. Clear? And so you have to be answer 5 questions, so there will be 8 questions. Out of 8 questions you have to be answer 5 questions, and total marks is 50. For each group you have to be answer at least 2, and the rest 1 you can answer from either of the group A or B. And all the question will be what the syllabus we have covered, so that will be cover all these things. The question will be from that portion. আচ্ছা, আমাকে একটা জিনিস বলো তো, যে আমি কি কি লেকচার্স নোটস তোমাদেরকে অ্যাটাচমেন্ট হিসেবে পাঠিয়েছি, সবগুলো কি পাঠিয়েছি? যা যা ক্লাস হয়েছে সেটা যদি আমাকে বলতে পারো তাহলে আমি অন্যগুলো পাঠাতে পারবো। মিস হয়ে গেছে কিনা একটু আমাকে বলবে। দেখা যাচ্ছে? Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in my portion, what I have discussed in my all these lectures, mostly this is based on the channel coding. Okay. So what is the why channel coding is used in case of communication, all these things. So you know that the channel coding is used to maintain signal to noise ratio. when you are transmitting, and obviously this channel coding is applicable for the digital data transmission when you are transmitting data. Okay, so then you can apply the coding techniques. So to increase the your signal to noise ratio, we have used the channel coding technique. So our all the coding techniques that is covered in my portion in advanced communication classes, that is based on the channel coding, that is to increase the signal to noise ratio, and that means to overcome the effect of the noise that is occurs when the data is transmitted through the channel. So different types of coding techniques are used based on the channel characteristics, and the main aim is to reduce the bit error rate. This is the main aim of the channel coding. So in case of your channel coding, what is the main encoder? That means what is the task of encoder? It's add the redundant bits, and by means of these redundant bits, so your channel encoder that should be at the transmitter end, and at the receiver when you receive your information, so there should be a decoder. So at the channel encoder portion, before transmission of the data through the channel, the task of channel encoder is to add redundant bits to combat the error, and that error is occurs due to your information or the data that is transmitted through the channel, and because of the channel noise, that error will be occurs, bit error will occur, and these redundant bits is added along with your information or along with your data, so that the at the receiver section, the decoder from that redundant bit can identify the error location. Once the error location is identified, it can correct the error. This is the main task of the channel encoder and decoder, and both, that is the combination of the channel encoder and the decoder, is called the codec. Channel coder and decoder, that is called the codec in combination. So different types of coding techniques we have discussed, that is block code, convolution code, and also mostly we classify the coding techniques in two forms. One is your that is forward error correction. Mostly all the your coding techniques are classified into two types. One is forward error correction technique, and another is the automatic repeat request. Okay. So in case of forward error correction, there is the in case of forward error correction is much more efficient than the automatic repeat request, because forward error correction we are adding the error detection code as well as error correction code. So the code length is increases compared to the automatic repeat request. So in case of automatic repeat request, the main problem is that it increases the transmission delay. So as there is no error correction code with the transmitted message or data, so the receiver only can, or decoder can only can detect error but cannot correct the error. So whenever it detects the error, it requests the transmitter to send the packet once again, that is the uh, that is correct, that means the same message but without error actually. So some error has occurred within the packet, so you resend the message. So obviously until and unless the transmitter receive the acknowledgement signal or NAC signal from the receiver, so transmitter wait till it receive the acknowledgement signal from the receiver. So obviously there will be a transmission delay in case of automatic repeat request. Okay. So but the complexity is less. So depending on the application, we can go for forward error correction or the automatic repeat request. So obviously, we have considered the different types of automatic repeat request techniques. It is stop and wait, then continuous automatic repeat request with pullback. Another is selective repeat request. So 3 types of automatic repeat request we have discussed in our lecture. And also, based on the forward error correction, we have considered different types of coding techniques. One is block code and is convolution code. So block code is nothing but the memory less code, and convolution code is a memory code. So in case of block code, there is one-to-one mapping, and the k number of message is transformed into n number of your code word. So the code is called NK code. Code is called NK code. So redundant bit that is added with your message n minus k. So obviously this redundant message you can add with your message k number of bits in a systematic way or non-systematic way. So there are 2 ways you can add the redundant bit with the message bit. And in case of your convolution code, so in this case the encoder output, it is not only depends on the present input or current input, it is also depends on the previous state of the machine or previous output of your machine. So we can define the convolution coding techniques by the state diagram described by means of state diagram, trellis diagram, tree diagram. So you can get the dynamic history of the coder. So that is a block code, the one type of the block code that is Reed-Solomon code, and that is very, very effective for the Basti error channel, and the convolution code is useful for the random error channel. So you know that 2 types of error occurs in case of your wireless channel. That is, one is your random error, another is a burst error. So also based on the channel characteristics, we can define the channel by means of discrete memory less channel or your Gilbert-Elliott channel. So Basti error channel we can describe by Gilbert-Elliott channel, or random error channel can be described by discrete memory based channel. So binary symmetric channel is one kind of discrete memory based channel. So that thing already I have discussed in your introduction class of the channel coding techniques, and I think I have also mailed you the introduction lecture. Okay. So these are the 2 types of error occurs in case of your communication channel. And you know that this error, that is the random error, are occurs that are due to white Gaussian noise in the channel. Okay. So what is the difference between random error and the burst error? So in case of random error, this is isolated error. So the error occurring in one position is not affected the other, that is the adjacent bits in the word or the packet. Okay. So the error generated in a particular interval does not affect the performance of the system in a subsequent interval. So these are the uncorrelated error. Whereas the burst error or Basti error channel, so in case of burst error, these errors are due to the impulsive noise of the channel. You know the impulsive noise means the bandwidth is large, minus infinity to plus infinity. So impulsive noise is spread into number of frequencies. So impulsive noise like your lightning or your switching of transient, and that means the error occur in one interval is affect the number of interval symbols. Okay, so this is the error generated in a particular interval will affect the performance of the system in subsequent interval. So obviously different error, based on the different error, we have to be use different coding channel coding techniques to combat that error. And these are the nomenclature when we have discussed the different types of channel coding techniques. These are the nomenclature already we have defined. One is the code word, block length, code rate. So code rate is depending on the code rate, the code efficiency also depends. So in case of the code word means that is the message bit is transformed into code word by means of adding the redundant bit, and it is transformed into block of n bits. Okay, and this n bits is called the your block length. Actually length is n, and code rate is k, message actual message divided by n. Actual message divided by n is the after adding the redundant bit. So again, the channel data rate. Channel data rate is also depends on the, it's nothing but the bit rate at the output of the encoder. So if R0 is a channel data rate, so that will be depends on the your n by k, just the reverse of that, n by k into rs, where rs is the bit rate at the input of the encoder, and channel data is the output of the encoder. So output of the encoder R naught, that will be nothing but 1 by R into RS. RS is the bit rate at the input of the encoder. Similarly, we have defined the code vector for when we consider the block code. Also the Hamming distance, Hamming weight, these are the very important thing in case of your, when we are considering the any coding technique, mostly in case of the block coding. So Hamming distance is measured by the difference of the bit position of the two code word of your block code or any code. It may be your cyclic code also. So this is error control capability is determined by the Hamming distance. If the Hamming distance is large, obviously your error detection, number of bit error detection and correction will be obviously better than the low Hamming distance, less Hamming distance. Suppose if I consider the two code word, and the two code word is 101 100 If I consider a set C contain number of code word C1, C2, C3 up to your Cn suppose, and out of this set C, the two code word we are considering, one code word suppose C1 is 1001111, another code word suppose C2 within that set C 11010010. So we have to be compare bit by bit how many position they differ. So in this case we have marked by red that this position, second position is deeper. Again, that is a fifth position, it is deeper. Again, the last position it is deeper. So if we compare this way, so how many bit position they differ, that define the Hamming distance. So here Hamming distance is 3. Other way, you can also be determine the Hamming distance bit by bit. You add this, and always we are considering the coding techniques. It is in the Galois field. It is based on the linear algebra and the Galois field. And operation is the modulo operation, modulo 2 operation. So addition also modulo 2, and your multiplication is also modulo 2. That means modulo 2 means there is two symbol 1 and 0. Okay. So this Hamming distance can be also be determined if I add this code word with this code word, and that this is bit by bit. So this thing is given here. So bit by bit we are added, and that is this addition is the modulo addition. So in this case, see here, only 3 position you are getting the non-zero value. So obviously this 3 position non-zero value means they are dissimilar. So this is the Hamming distance. Why Hamming distance is important? Because based on the Hamming distance, you have to be detect the error. If the Hamming distance, so this is the relation between the how much or how many your bit error can be detected. So this will be based on this relation. So T, that means the maximum number of detectable error, that is uh, T detect equal to D min minus 1. So D min is the minimum Hamming distance. So here is minimum Hamming distance is 3. So you can detect how many bit error? You can detect only 2. 2 bit error position can be detected. Okay. And how many can be corrected? So you can correct that the error that will be D min minus 1 by 2. Clear? So this is the error detection. So Hamming distance is very, very important in case of your coding techniques. So for this case, if I consider the Hamming distance is 3, so obviously it can correct only the 1 bit error can be corrected. You can detect 2 bit error for minimum Hamming distance is 3, but can correct 1 and can detect 2 bit error. Clear? So again, also I have discussed the code efficiency, that is nothing but your code rate. And what is the code Hamming weight of your code? Hamming weight is a in a code word, how many bits are non-zero value that define the Hamming weight. So number of non-zero element in the transmitted code word is called the weight of the code. Clear? So already all these things I have discussed when I have taken the introduction class and the block code class. But again, I am recap all these points. So very quickly, I am going to this. So this is the block code. You know the block code. We are defining the block code in K block code. Always when we are considering the block code, we are considering 7/4 block code, 6/3 block code. Okay, so n is the 7, k is the 4. If 6 is n, k is 3, like that. And your message is defined by m1, m2, m3, and block code can be generated by generator matrix. And you know that the block code is a linear. Block code is a linear, so it must satisfy the superposition principle. So sum of 2 code words also generate another code word. You have to be verify the block code is linear or not. So within the set, so number of code words are there. So sum of 2 code word also produces the third code word, that is belong to this set C or belong to this code. And in a systematic addition of your redundant bits of coding techniques, so it will be looks like that the message bit first, then the your check bit or the parity bit or the redundant bit, whatever you say. Sometimes this parity bit will be just first, then after the message bit. Okay, so how, depending on the how you are designing the code. So we can write the code vector of this form. That is, if I say the code vector is X, we can write the code vector as that is the message vector, and this is your check bit. Check bit means your parity bit. Okay. So we say that the Q bit check bit we have added, and we can write that is MG, means G is the generator matrix. So code word can be represented as X equal to mg. Generally, product of these two, we have also written the block code of this form. So I'm not going all this part. Already we have discussed in your classes. So how the generator matrix, how we can generate, how your what is H matrix? H matrix is nothing but parity check matrix, and you know the generator matrix and the parity check matrix, they are orthogonal. So GH transpose is equal to 0 always. And in case of generation of your code word, so one thing is very important, very easy to generate the code word, that there will be your parity matrix, that means H transpose matrix. This is nothing but H matrix means parity check matrix, that is the P transpose matrix, that is parity matrix transpose, and the identity matrix or the diagonal matrix. So it is easy to generate H matrix. And you have to be checked GH transpose, this property should be satisfied. GH transpose must be equal to 0. So G and H are orthogonal. Generator matrix at the transmitter, H matrix, parity check matrix should be at the decoder section, that means at the receiver section. So GH transpose must be 0. And in case of Hamming code, so you have to be check whether the NK linear block code will is it Hamming code or not. How to check that the NK block code is Hamming code or not. So for that case, you have to find out the check bits. That means the redundant bit, how many redundant bits are there. If I say 7-4 linear block code, so how many redundant bit is added? That is 7 minus 4, that is 3 redundant bit. And block length is equal to how much? Block length is equal to n equal to 2 to the power q minus 1. If I say 7-4 block code, so 3 redundant bit, so length of the block code will be 2 to the power 3 minus 1, that is 7. Okay. And number of message bit k equal to n minus q. You know that n minus q, because your that is n minus k equal to q. So the reverse is also true. And the minimum distance is for 7-4. Here we are considering the minimum distance is 3. So if the minimum distance is 3, so obviously it can detect 2 error and correct single error. So already I have mentioned this thing. Okay, now see here, 7-4. We have considered a 7-4. If this type of question is given to, you can easily find out these things. So H matrix is given. So in the H matrix, which is your parity matrix, this is P transpose, and this is your I matrix. So like your this thing. H is P transpose into then I. So if suppose example, this type of problem is given in your exam, the parity check matrix of a 7-4 linear block code H is like this. So you can easily identify that this is P transpose matrix and this is diagonal matrix. So this is your I matrix. So from that, you have to find out the generator matrix, because this is a P transpose matrix. So from that you can find out P matrix. So obviously you can easily generate your G matrix. What is G matrix? This is nothing but the linear combination of the message. Okay. And list all the code vector. So G equal to, C equal to, or X, in this case we have considered X equal to M into G. And what is the minimum distance between the code vector? So minimum distance between the code vector, when you generate the code vector, when you design the code vector based on this parity check matrix, you can easily find out the minimum distance. And how many error can be detected and how many error can be corrected, that can be easily from this you can easily find out. And also you can find out the minimum Hamming distance. Based on the minimum Hamming distance, you can you can find out that how many error can be detected and how many error can be corrected. And once you can generate the code word, then you can easily find out the Hamming distance, because Hamming distance is nothing but the difference of two code word in their bit position, how many bit position they differ. Okay. See here, this thing is also given, that is number of check bit is 3, that is already I mentioned, block length is 7. So this shows a given code is Hamming code, because this is Hamming code because it satisfies this thing. Linear, this, for to satisfy the code is Hamming code or not, number of check bits should be 3, block length should be to the power q minus 1. So 7 4, it is satisfied, so it is a Hamming code. Okay. Now P transpose matrix. One example is given actually. How we can find out the generator matrix and code word, all the code word. I'm not going details because all these things I have discussed. Now going to your syndrome. So from the syndrome calculation, you can also detect the error position. What is syndrome? Syndrome is generally used to find out the error position. And as the code is a binary code, so obviously just flipping the bits where the error is occurs, you just flip that bit so you can correct the error. Okay. And syndrome is generally calculated by R. If I say the Y is the receive vector, so receive vector into H transpose. This is the syndrome calculation. So from that, so that receive vector is comprising of how much? This Y is nothing but your code vector C plus error vector E. And you know that the code vector C is generated from the generator matrix G. So obviously GH transpose is 0. So CH transpose is 0. So the syndrome can be calculated EH transpose. So E is the error. So this is suppose that your receive vector. If I say this is the receive vector and H transpose is given to you. So you just from that you can calculate the syndrome, and in this case is one example is given, that is 101. So in the H transpose matrix, where which column contain the not column, which row contain 101, you identify that. So 101 is the first row. Okay. So first position of the receive vector will be in error. So you just flip that bits so you can easily correct it. So this thing already I have discussed in your classes. Also, this is your all this syndrome calculation and all these things. Also, I have discussed in your class that is a cyclic code. This is a subclass of the block code, subclass of block code, and this is easy to generate. This cyclic code can easily be generated, and two-way the cyclic code generated. One is systematic way and non-systematic way of generation of the cyclic code that is already discussed in the class. Cyclic code property. Also, there is a linearity property. Cyclic code must satisfy linearity property because it is a subclass of the block code. Also, cyclic property. That means cyclic shift of the code also be generated the another valid code word that belongs to the set C. And cyclic code can be represented by the polynomial form so easily by hardware. You can represent it, you can design the cyclic code. Okay, so this thing already I have discussed, and it can be uh, generated by uh, one systematic way, and systematic way cyclic code, that is the message bit, then the check bit, and this check bit can be generated by, that is the this form that is already I have discussed in your cyclic code lecture. So I think that lecture already I have sent to you, that lecture notes. Okay, like this. This is a cyclic code with the generator polynomial of this form. So here check bit is 3 and block length is 7. So M is a message vector. Message vector is of this one 0, 1, 0, 1. And in this case, your fourth polynomial, that is a generator polynomial, is x cube. If I say x cube plus x plus 3, so you divide that x to, this is your x to the power q. Q means here is 3, x3 into mx. Mx means you have to retain this thing in polynomial form, and your gx. Gx is this thing. Okay, this is systematic. And another was your non-systematic way. Similarly, we have discussed your other thing we have discussed, that is your convolution code. So cyclic code and block code, these are your linear code. And cyclic code very easy to implement by means of your sieve register. Now the convolution code. Convolution code, how you are defining the convolution code? It's a memory code. So a convolution code is defined by NK and capital Q. Capital K is the constraint length. So any convolution code is defined by 3 parameters, n, small k, and this should be capital N. Capital K. This is the constraint length. Okay. So this constraint length actually define the memory. K minus 1 is the memory of the convolution coding. As it's a memory code, so you are representing this code by means of a finite state machine or the state diagram. And you can implement the code up to the constraint length is less than equal to 20. Number of time I have mentioned during your class. So this is the structure of the convolution code. This is the structure of the convolution code. And in case of the convolution code, so decoder design is either the soft decoding or the hard decoding. Mostly we are considering the soft decoding, and the algorithm is based on the Viterbi algorithm. And we have designed the convolution code based on this circuit mostly, that is consists of date is half, constant length is 3, that is 3 C register content, and memory is 2 memory, and half means 1 input bits and 2 output. Obviously there will be 2 generator polynomial or generator connection. So you can represent the convolution code that I have discussed in your convolution coding lecture, that is connector pictorial representation, that is connection diagram, and this is called the connection diagram. Also you can represent it by polynomial form. You can also represent it by state diagram, trellis diagram, tree diagram. Okay. Mostly the encoding and decoding of the convolution coding is based on the your trellis diagram. Decoding procedure is based on the Viterbi algorithm, is based on the trellis diagram. So this thing I have already mentioned, that a message is contain 101 bits. So at T1 time, first seed register it is 1 is entered, and initially all the seed register are 0. So and based on the connection generated polynomial connection, output will be changed. Okay. And if constant length k equal to 3, so after the 3 shift, so the last bit, if I say this last bit is here at this position, it will be that is cover the full length of the seed register. To cover the full length of the seed register, to another 0 should be inputted. That bits are called the flashing bit. Why we are considering the flashing bits means we are clearing the register content, because initially all the seed register content was 0. So to generally the if constant length is k, so k minus 1 trailing bits or 0 bit should be inputted after the message bit to clear all the register content. This is the connector diagram representation or vector representation. Also the polynomial form, we are representing this form, that is 2 generator polynomial was there. So one is G1 and G2. The connection was 111 and 101. So based on that, we have the represented is 1 plus x square, another is 1 plus x, and this is your message 101. So these are output is interlace. So this form you are getting the output. So this is another representation of the convolution coding techniques. So this is the tree diagram representation of the convolution coder. In this case, we are same thing. We are considering constant length is k. Here output we are considering n equal to 3. Message is 1. One input bit is coming 1 by 1. So same message 101. So in the tree diagram, what we have considering? We are considering if the 0 bit is coming, so it will be goes upward, branch will be going upwards, and if it is 1, it is going downward. Okay, so this is the initial point. If I say this is initial point, it will be go, this is A node, this will be B node. Clear? Again, from that A node, there will be also two branches, because this is the time t equal to t1. If I say next is t2 time, again another bit will be coming. So again there will be probability either 1 or 0. So if 0 is, then it will be go to the upward. If it is 0, 1, then it will be going downward. Similarly, at this node also be upward and the downward. So every time from each node, two branches will be emerges, and one is going upward and another is going downward. Upward branch is for the 0 bit input and the downward for the 1 bit input. Okay. So at this tree diagram gives the time history of the encoder. So the problem of the tree diagram that as the time passes, so more branches will be your merges out. So it will be very difficult to manage, or also require large number of storage to store all this your branch information. Okay. Similarly, also we have discussed about the state diagram of the convolution coding techniques. So we are defining the state of the machine. The state of the machine is the memory. So what is the memory? If I say k equal to 3, the memory will be k minus 1. That is, memory will be 2. So we are defining the state, and this definition of the state, here we are defining the state like that, A00. So this state definition of the convolution coding techniques will be based on the designer. Here we are defining A00, B01. So you can define B10, C01. So it depends on the designer. Here in this highlighted portion, I have shown that is we are defining the state of the machine, that the 00 is the initial state. So you can define the 00 as a B. But in general convention, A alphabet is coming first. So that's why initially we are defining 00 is a A. And other state you can just shuffle A, B, C, you can shuffle. Okay. So this shows that the 3 shift register, but this is the memory of the shift register. Okay. And here 3 generator polynomial, so 3 output is shown. So this output is not only depends on the input, also the state of the machine. What is the previous content? So at each tick of the clock, the shift register content is shifted to the right position. There are different state diagram we have mentioned in your lectures. And one thing we have also calculated, that is the minimum free distance of the convolution coding techniques by modifying the state diagram. So what is the state diagram? State diagram is, this is the state definition. So if I say this is a state diagram, so here we are defining the state transition table. Either state transition table can be given in this form or maybe in the table form. So what is state transition table? Initially, your state was A, that is 00. So from 00 state, the machine can goes to If a 0 bit is come, so it will be goes to either 0 state, or any 1 bit is come, it will be go to the other state. Okay. So depending on the your connection means your, that is this machine. Okay. So this way your state diagram we are defining and draw the state diagram, defining the states and the state transition table. Already I have discussed in your convolution coding class the how the transition table can be defined. That is also mentioned in table form also, and this thing also be given. And from the state diagram, you can easily find out for any input, the output, that is a encoder output bits can be easily you can find out. Okay. So this thing already I think I have discussed in your class. So if you go through the lecture that I have mailed to you, so you can easily understand. And this thing is the modifying of the state diagram. So this is your state diagram, and this is the modification of the state diagram. What is the modification of the state diagram? We know the initially the state of the machine should in the 0 state, and after flashing the bits, all the state of the machine will be again come back to the 0 state. Initially it is 0 and finally this should be 0. So the your state was A 0. It will be finally reach to the state 0. So how it will be, through which path it will be reached to 0. It may be different, it may follow different path, A to B, B to C, C to D, or maybe A to C, C to D. So depending on the, at different time instant, what are the input bit is coming to the encoder input. Okay, so depending on that, it will be follow the path. And we have to find out, so there will be number of path that will be, the encoder will be followed from state A, and traversing number of path, again it will be reaching to the position A. So for each path, we have to be calculate the distance, and we have to find out that we have to be, that means that path will be survived, that has the minimum distance, and that is called the D free distance, D minimum free distance. So that's why we are, this state diagram will be, this is the state diagram, and this will be straightened like that. So A is here, again there is a. So A, how A is reached to A? So A is started from this position to this to this, then this to this path. It may be this to your this path, then this to this path, then this to this path. Okay, so this path we are considering like that. So this is initial A, this is final A. So from starting from the initial, how it is reaches to the final A. So final A, so this A we are dividing into two, initial A and the final A, and how it's follow the path. So we are redraw that path and find out the minimum distance, and we will be consider only that minimum distance for encoding your information and also decoding the information. So this is actually the why we are modifying the state diagram. So this is D free is 6. We have find out the D free is 6. So also we can find out the Trellis diagram based on the state transition, that is table. and the state definition. So to draw the trellis diagram, you have to know the state of the machine, or the state definition of the machine, also the state diagram of the machine. State diagram means that is you have to know the state transition table. Okay, so from that you can easily draw the trellis diagram. And if the trellis diagram is given to you, so for any bit, suppose 1011, and you have to be in your question, suppose it is asked that find out trellis diagram is given, so that means this diagram is given to you, and the input bit, suppose 10100 is given to you. You have to be answer that question is asked, find out the encoded information for this input 10100 for the trellis diagram is given. Okay, so it is very easy to find out the encoded output, because initially you have to be start from this position, A from position. So for each bit, when it is, if I say this is T1 instant, this is T2 instant, so you have to be go from left to right for each instant. So if it is 1, so you have to be go downward. If 0, you have to be go upward. For each node, there will be 2 branches. And these branches will be go upward and downward based on the your state transition table. So for a position, suppose initially 0, 0, initially your state is 0, 0. So now 1 bit is coming. So from the node A, there are 2 branches is open up. One is this, another is this. So from the next instant, from A, if the input is 1, so you have to be go downward branch, not the upward branch. So that is marked by the red line. Now at the position here, you are reaching at the node C. Clear? So at the node C, there is 2 branches is open up. One is going upward, another is downward. This dashed line is for the 1 bit and the solid line for the 0 bit. So upward branch is for the 0 bit transition or 0 bit inputted to the encoder, and this dash line for the 1 bit is inputted to the encoder. Now at this position again 0 is coming. So at the node C position, so you have to be go, when you go to the right position, so you have to find out which bit is coming, bit 0. So which branches you have to be follow. So as 0, so you have to be follow the upward branch instead of this lower branch. So you are going upward. So when you go upward, in the third instant, you are reaching at the node C. So from that, you can also easily find out the state transition table. Okay. Now at this position, again a 1 bit is coming. So B node to the next time instant, you have to be follow the downward branch. In the B node, there is 2 branches. One is upward and the downward. But you are following downward branch because 1 is coming. Clear? And in the trellis diagram, for each branches, there is something is written, that code word. It is nothing but the U1, U2, U3, the output of the encoder. So as you are following this path, so output of the encoder 111. So for the 1 input, you are written 111. For 0 input, as it is going upward, so the output is written, that is, this is output word, so it is 0, 0, 0. So for the 0 input, it is written 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, like that. Next for the 1, next for this 1, it is written 1, 0, 0. So for next input, third input 1, it is written 1, 0, 0. Like this, you can easily find out the encoder output or encoded output of the convolution coder if trellis diagram is given to you, but this red line is not given to you. So you have to be mark this line and you have to find out the code word. This code word is already given in the trellis diagram, but which code word you have to be select, that will be depends on the input is given to you. I think this thing is clear. So different example we have shown in your classes also. And also we have discussed the how to decode the information by means of the trellis diagram by means of Viterbi algorithm. So Viterbi algorithm is also be based on this trellis diagram, and it follow the minimum distance path, minimum Hamming distance path. Initially, always you have to be start from the 0 state, means state A. Always you have to be follow the state A. And finally, you have to be reach the path A also, because again after the all transition, the SIB register content will be, the memory of the SIB register content should be flashing out or clean out, so it will be 0. So initially you have to be start from 0 and finally you have to be reach 0. Yeah. So in this trellis diagram, if I consider in this trellis diagram, so you can reach from 0 to 0. So that means in all the state are 0. So there is 0 path. So code word is 0. Or you can, this is your, the upper one is given the receive vector. Okay, this is your receive vector. So if the receive vector is given to you, and from the receive vector by means of the trellis diagram, we have to be correct the error. This receive vector that you are receiving, it may be your correct or may not be correct. So the Viterbi decoder will be decode your information. How it decode your information? Now, it's measure the Hamming distance between this receive vector and all the path that is traversing from AA and reaching to also A through all this path. So one is all this path, that is all the A path. It may be A to C. There is also a node B also, A to C, C to then this path, this path. Also there is A to C, C to D, D to D, D to B, like this path. Okay. So different paths are shown here, and each path, the code word is also be given, that is output word, not code word, that is the output word is given. And this output path, you have to find out the minimum distance between this output path and the receive vector, and find out the which one is the minimum Hamming distance. So in this path, the minimum Hamming distance is 2. So out of these all path, out of this 8 path, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, out of this 8 path, which path shows the minimum Hamming distance, you just select that path and decode your information. Clear? This is your Viterbi algorithm that is already I have discussed in your convolution coding technique class. Also, another coding technique I have discussed, that is the trellis coded modulation. So, in case of trellis coded modulation techniques, we combining no, coding plus modulation. Both thing we are combining, that is shown here. The first is your convolution code, next is your constellation mapper. This is the your modulation, and this is the coding part. Why it is called Trellis code? Because we are considering the convolution coder as the convolution coding is used. So obviously we are representing the coding technique by the Trellis code. Okay, and it is based on the, that is the coding technique is based on the uh, minimum Euclidean distance. You are code in such a way you are maximizing the minimum Euclidean distance between the points. তোমরা বুঝতে পারছো তো? অনলাইনে তো কাউকে দেখতে পাই না, এটা সমস্যা। So this is your Trellis code modulation. So it's a combination of coding and the modulation techniques. It is used in case of your mobile communication also. Satellite communication is also it is used. Also, there is another coding technique is very useful and very efficient, that is called your concatenation coding techniques. We have discussed the concatenation coding. Concatenation coding is mostly used to increase the length of the code. We have discussed the two types of concatenation, serial concatenation and the parallel concatenation. Obviously, parallel concatenation much more effective than the serial concatenation. And concatenation techniques is basically used to increase the distance property, that is distance means the Hamming distance between the code. And parallel concatenation techniques is used in that is used for the turbo coding techniques. And this parallel concatenation techniques, when you are using, it may be feed forward, it may be feedback. Feedback is called the recursive technique and feed forward is called non-recursive. So in case of your feed forward technique, that is nothing but the finite impulse response, and feedback, that is infinite impulse response. So feedback parallel concatenation is actually the turbo code. This structure is offered very efficient coding game. This is a very effective coding techniques. Because of this your recursive nature, if a single weight input is applied at the input of the encoder, the multiple non-zero weight is generated at the output, because it is a infinite impulse. So one impulse is applied at the input, that means single input, single non-zero input is applied at the 1 0 0 0. If we apply at the output infinite 1, it will be generated because of this recursive nature, that is feed forward nature. And in this case, obviously, the convolution, both that is the how many your parallel code are you are concatenated, that code are nothing but the convolution code. So concatenation coding, serial concatenation or parallel concatenation, you can use block code and the convolution code in combination. That is the inner code is convolution code and outer code is a block code in case of your serial concatenation. Or parallel concatenation, you can use one is block code and is convolution code. But in case of your turbo code, when you are considering the turbo coding techniques, for that case both the, that is all these parallel codes are convolution code, and they are the structured like a your recursive fashion. And also one thing is very important in case of turbo coding, that is interleaving. Interleaving is very crucial in case of your turbo coding. It is reorder the bits in such a way that also we increases that is the infinite, that generate the infinite weight at the output of the coder. So this is the main advantage of the turbo code, and actually it's called turbo because the principle is based on the turbo machine, turbo engine. Okay, so it will be just based on the turbo engine. And there are different types of algorithm is used for decoding the turbo code. MAP algorithm, SOVA algorithm. SOVA is your based on the Viterbi algorithm. So obviously I have mentioned the SOVA is much more efficient than the MAP algorithm. So these are the all things that we have covered in your that is class, that is your channel coding classes. So I think I have taken 15, 12 to 15 classes, and all these classes I have covered. I think 15 class, total 15 class I have taken. In all these classes I have covered all the question that I have discussed. So this thing is clear to you. If you have any question or any query, you can ask me. 8টা কোয়েশ্চেন থাকবে, তার থেকে 5 কোয়েশ্চেন আনসার করতে হবে। ইচ গ্রুপ থেকে অ্যাটলিস্ট 2 কোয়েশ্চেন তোমাদেরকে আনসার করতে হবে, and that is the 5th question you can attempt from any of the group. ঠিক আছে, আমার পোর্শনে আমি যা যা বললাম বেসড অন দ্যাট কোয়েশ্চেন থাকবে। আর কিছু কোয়েরি তোমাদের আছে? তোমরা অনেক টাইম পাচ্ছ পড়ার, সবাই তো 1 সপ্তাহ স্টাডি লিভ পেয়েছে।
ম্যাম আমাদের এক্সাম রেজিস্ট্রেশন কবে করতে হবে?
এক্সাম রেজিস্ট্রেশন তো বলে এরকম কিছু হয় না। তুমি এক্সাম রেজিস্ট্রেশন বলতে কি বলতে চাইছো বুঝতে পারছি
মানে
না।
আমরা আগে যেটা একটা ফর্ম ফিল আপ করতাম, আমরা লাস্ট যতদিন অনলাইন হচ্ছে সেটাতে করিনি। অফলাইনে যখন এক্সাম হতো এক্সামের একটা ফর্ম ফিল আপ করতাম, ওইটা।
সেটা বলছো? অনলাইন এক্সামে তো ফর্ম ফিল আপ হয় না। এখনো পর্যন্ত আমাদের কাছে কোনো নোটিশ আসেনি। অনলাইনে কোনো ফর্ম ফিল আপ কিন্তু এখনো পর্যন্ত হয়নি এবং হয় না।
ম্যাম আমরা
এরা
তো ইউনিভার্সিটির রোল নাম্বারটা পাইনি এইবার, আমাদের আগের বার যেটা ছিল।
সেটা আগের বার না,
মানে
এদের
বিটেক
একটা
এর পাইনি।
এদের একটা রেজিস্ট্রেশন করতে হবে যারা মানে ইউনিভার্সিটির বাইরে, তাদের তো রেজিস্ট্রেশনের জন্য একটা বলেছে মাইগ্রেশন জোগাড় করে। আমি জানি না সবাই করেছে কিনা, 31 ডিসেম্বরের মধ্যে করার কথা ছিল। আর তোমাদেরটা মনে হয় কন্ট্রোলার মানে রোল নাম্বার কিছু ভাবে একটা জেনারেট করে, এর আগেরবারও তাই হয়েছিল, কন্ট্রোলার একটা পাঠিয়ে দেয়। সেটা এখন ডিসাইড হয়নি, একটা মিটিং আছে সেটাতে ডিসাইড হবে। হ্যাঁ, কিন্তু এটা নিয়ে তোমাদের অডিট হওয়ার কিছু নেই, ওটা
ওকে ম্যাম।
অটোমেটিক্যালি হয়ে যাবে। হ্যাঁ, এটা নিয়ে অডিট হওয়ার কিছু, যারা আউট অফ সিইউ, এখন সিইউতে যারা এসছে তাদের কিন্তু মাইগ্রেশন নিয়ে সাবমিট করে রেজিস্ট্রেশন করতে হবে, না হলে রেজাল্ট উইথহেল্ড হয়ে যাবে। আমি বারবার এটা বলছি, যারা সিইউর বাইরের ক্যান্ডিডেট এখন সিইউতে এসছে। ঠিক আছে, তাহলে আমি আজকে তাহলে তোমাদের যখন কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন নেই, আচ্ছা তোমাদের কি সব নোটস আমি দিয়ে দিয়েছি তো? মানে কেউ দেখোনি তাই তো? আরো তো অনলাইনে হচ্ছে, আরোই দেখবেন। অভিক, অভিক অ্যাবসেন্ট?
না ম্যাম, আছি, প্রেজেন্ট ম্যাম।
আছো?
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম।
শ্রেয়সী?
প্রেজেন্ট ম্যাম।
সুপ্রভা? সায়ন অ্যাবসেন্ট। সুমিত, সুমিত তো মনে হয় ছেড়ে দিল না, কি একটা মেল করেছিল, সুমিত তো মনে হয় কন্টিনিউ করবে না। আর ঋত্বিক ঘোষ অ্যাবসেন্ট। অর্ঘদীপ? অভিষেক মল্লিক? কোথায় চলে গেল? সুমন, সুমন তো পড়েই না। চামেলি, চামেলি,